So the Spurs, as usual, with Cummings, Elliott, Robinson, Anderson, Strickland. The Knicks with Oakley and Vandeweghe at the forwards. Oakley the big rebounder, Vandeweghe the big scorer, Ewing in the middle. And that changed Tucker and Cheeks, the original starting backcourt. Gerald Wilkins added as a late starter by John McLeod coming off that strained thigh muscle. The Spurs have been looking for their offense. The first 40 games this year, they were 30-10. They were scoring 110 points per game, shooting 49%. The last 27 games, and this covers a great deal of Strickland's absence, they're 14-13, 99 points. Their average drops 11 points per game over those last 27, shooting 47%. And in the 27 games, they have not cracked 100 points 12 times. How worried would you be, Kobe, if you're Larry Brown and you're looking at those numbers and looking at the playoffs looming not too far over the horizon?
Well, I don't think I'm probably a little more worried than Larry Brown is. Larry Brown is more of a defensive coach. I think if you're going to do anything in the playoffs, you've got to learn to score. You've got to be able to score against really good defense. I think that's been the problem for the Spurs a good portion of the year.
In the series, the Knicks get a chance to tie it. 20-19 Spurs, 14-5 in this building. They've split 6 straight years, which should be a good omen for the Spurs, because they did lose February 28th at the Garden, 100-93. That game in which they led early 19-1 and really quit playing at that point. Wally Rooney, Eddie F. Rush, and Joe Borgia, the official.
Well, as we get started here, I felt like the game in New York, the Spurs really attacked the wrong guy, trying to attack Ewing with David Robinson. But there's 3 guys on this Knicks team that individually aren't very good defensive players. I think those are the guys you want to attack. I think Cheeks is one. I think Wilkins is another. And Vandeweghe certainly is the guy that you want to attack on offense.
2-0 Vandeweghe with the quick turnaround.
I mean, Kiki Vandeweghe can beat you with his offense, but you've got to take advantage of him. I think they've got to get the ball to Sean Elliott.
He can beat you with his offense, and you can beat them strictly by taking advantage of him defensively if you do it right. Power move, Robinson off the front iron, and he slaps it out of bounds, but maybe a quick indication of what he wants to do tonight.
Well, he tried to move Ewing a little bit. That to me is not the best matchup for the Spurs tonight. But if you get Sean Elliott beating Vandeweghe off the dribble and Ewing having to help, I think David Robinson's night will be a lot easier.
Elliott fighting off the Ewing screen. And the fall away makes it 4-0. Now what the Spurs want to do against Ewing is make him drive. They feel he's less effective having to handle the ball than if he stays outside for the fall away.
There we see a real good example of how easily Sean Elliott can go by Kiki Vandeweghe. Vandeweghe just went ahead and fouled him, but you saw Ewing turn to help, and that, of course, is going to leave David Robinson all over the offensive boards.
4-0 Knicks. Ewing out to bother Strickland. Still struggling occasionally with the wrapped right hand. Robinson double. Out to Anderson. And the runner will not stay in. Rebounded by Ewing. And the Knicks look for a 6-0 lead. Gerald Wilkins from the corner gives them that margin. He had 22 in the first meeting this year. In the midst of his hottest stretch of the season at that point. They just gone to the motion offense. He said it frees him to do what he does best, wear down his opponent. Feels he may be the best conditioned player at his position in the NBA, and it tells on his opponents in the fourth quarter. Anderson going right past him, misses that one, but Cummings is there for the follow, and it's 6-2. Spurs missed their first 5 attempts before the putback by TC.
There you saw Willie Anderson slice into the hoop, but Ewing didn't really jump for it. I think he's going to try and pay attention to David Robinson.
Vandeweghe slips it to Oakley. Now the open shot falls for Ewing, who is 2 for 2. Ewing comes in needing 33 for 10,000 points for his career. He would be the 5th Knick to hit that milestone. He now needs 29. Robinson again doubles. Passed it off Oakley, right back to him. Can't power it up. One more time. Ewing knocked it free. Elliott hooked by Charles Oakley. But the going is tough inside against the oak tree and against Patrick Ewing.
Here we saw the first offensive rebound. It gets blocked from behind. Sean picks it up, takes it in, and Oakley ends up fouling him.
Oak tree at 6'9", 245.
Right at the beginning of that play, we saw an example of what I'm talking about. Is Sean Elliott gets the ball on the wing over here with Vandeweghe guarding him, and the Spurs bring somebody to the ball. And to me, if you're looking at it in terms of the team scoring, I would want to get out of Sean Elliott's way and get Vandeweghe out of this game as quickly as possible.
8-4 Knicks. The shooting woes holding the Spurs down. At some point, you know the Knicks are going to cool off. Vandeweghe, well, not yet. He's got his first 2 attempts. Ewing 2 for 2. Wilkins added the other bucket. Elliott again, easily past Vandeweghe, and then it was Ewing who came over, almost got the block, instead commits his first and the team's 3rd foul. This is what you're talking about. Twice now he has blown right past Kiki Vandeweghe, and good things have happened.
Kiki doesn't have a prayer guarding Sean Elliott, who is, you know, arguably one of the better one-on-one forwards in the game. He's developing that kind of a game. But that time Ewing had to help. It cost him a foul, and I'm sure he'd like to save that foul and use it against David Robinson.
San Antonio yet to be called for a foul, and already 3 against the Knicks. Wilkins in the corner, stumbled. Strickland knocked it free. Robinson. And the Rocket whips it. Backdoor rejection, Ewing of Cummings. TC had no idea Ewing was that close. Elliott staying in front of Vandeweghe. Ewing, that's why the Spurs want him to handle the ball. Ahead it goes to Willie.
Well, really good off-the-ball defense by the Spurs. As soon as the New York team puts the ball on the floor, somebody's running at them.
10-8, Spurs get offense off their defense. Fall away Ewing. Rebound Cummings. That is the first miss by New York. It took almost 4 minutes. Strickland in deep. Elliott from the corner. Tie game. And Sean with 6 of the first 10 for the Spurs. 6 unanswered Spur points. Knicks set it up for Wilkins to take it in past the Admiral. And Gerald Wilkins showing no ill effects from the thigh injury.
Well, there we see an example of what Gerald Wilkins can do. He drew the complete attention of David Robinson. That makes it very difficult for Dave to get back to Patrick Ewing if he needs to.
High post jumper won't fall. Rebounded by Oakley. 3rd leading rebounder in the NBA. Vandeweghe doing what he does best. Now, you can burn him when he's on defense, but he'll more often than not get you back by releasing and leading fast breaks.
He's an offensive machine, Kiki Vandeweghe. You just have to take advantage of what he doesn't do well.
John McLeod happy. Larry Brown calls time. 7-10 in the first. The Knicks by 4. Look at the Spurs during the playoffs. Stop by any of the 6 San Antonio iMasters locations and register in the Eyes on the Spurs sweepstakes. You could win one of 10 pairs of Spurs home game playoff tickets. Other prizes including a Spurs jacket, autographed basketball, Spurs shop gift certificates, and Ray-Ban sunglasses. All courtesy of iMasters and the Spurs. No purchase necessary. 14-10 New York. 7:05. Underneath, Robinson to the backdoor man, Strickland. His first 2, and it's a 2-point game.
Well, real alert play by David Robinson as Rod Strickland completely lost Maurice Cheeks.
Right Vandeweghe underneath Oakley. Now Ewing. Ducks underneath the Admiral for the finger roll, and Ewing has outscored David 6-0. Robinson 0 for his first 4. A lot of room, high post, knocked around to Elliott. And TC picked up by Ewing, which means Oakley has Robinson right back to TC and threw his hands to Vandeweghe. Spurs had a good idea that time, searched for the mismatch and thought they had it, but it went right through TC's fingertips, and nobody blocks off the middle for Vandeweghe, who has 8 points.
Kiki Vandeweghe has one of the better first steps. That first step towards the basket, he's able to move his feet very quickly. He doesn't have the same foot speed on defense, but he can really go by people.
Rod Strickland tangled up that time with Cheeks off his hand. Each team with 2 turnovers. This matches the biggest Knick lead so far, 6 points, 18-12. Wilkins from up high, 20-12. It is the Madison Square Garden game almost in reverse. In that first quarter, the Spurs could do no wrong. In this first quarter, the Knicks are 10 for 11. And the Spurs only 4 for 12. Outside, Robinson 0 for 5. One-handed board, Oakley. Interception, Rod Strickland. All the way down, and the Robinson jam ends his slow start. 20-14. Rod Strickland like the best of Ronnie Lott on the interception. Who's now a Raider. Something just doesn't quite feel right about that. Knicks set up and an off-the-ball foul holding Sean Elliott, his first. Sidney Green, the former Knick native of New York City, checking in for Robinson, who has really struggled. 1 for 6, 2 points, 1 board as he takes a seat next to Larry Brown. And immediately the Knicks working underneath to Charles Oakley. His first 2, it's an 8-point game again. Green much too hard to Rod Strickland. The Spurs not only shooting poorly, but passing the ball sloppily in the half-court game.
Well, like a lot of the games that they've been playing lately, the Spurs are a little undecisive. And if you get undecisive, you don't shoot well, you don't pass well.
Ed Ewing into the 5th row after losing control of that one. Ed Rush says, wait a minute, I'd like to touch it, and then you can inbound the ball.
By contrast, the Knicks really look different than even the last game I think we saw them in Madison Square Garden. They seem very decisive about what they want to do. Everybody's taking their kind of shots.
In deep, Green up twice, rejection. Ewing knocked out off Wilkins. Sidney Green and his former teammate Ewing in a standoff here.
Well, he gave him every fake he could give him, but Patrick Ewing just stayed home and went up with when he finally turned it loose and blocked it.
Middle of the lane for TC.
Difficult shot by Terry Cummings. Just lofted it up over the top of Patrick Ewing.
Now the thing that's strange about what you just said as the Knicks get time is that they've been running their motion offense for about a month. The Spurs for 3 years, ever since Larry Brown's been here. Not a whole lot of comparison, really, between Ewing and Robinson so far. Ewing doing what he has wanted to do, and especially in the defensive end with 4 rejections already. The Admiral 1 for 6, 1 rebound, no blocks, and 6-2 Ewing translating on the scoreboard to a 22-16 New York advantage. As we said at the outset, the center matchup dictating who's dominating on the scoreboard.
Well, the Spurs really are playing into what New York does well. Their interior defense with Patrick Ewing in there is really effective. The Spurs probably not taking advantage nearly as much as the people that can't guard anyone. Keeper Vanderway is, obviously so far we've seen that he can't guard Sean.
Rod Strickland really missed not getting to play at his hometown. He had not played against New York since the trade last year because by that time the season series had been completed. That would have been his grand opportunity to make a statement to Al Bianchi, who at that time didn't know it, but he was general managing for the last time for the Knicks. He was fired immediately after that Knick victory. Ewing against Green and Anderson, and an air ball.
Good defensive help that time by Willie Anderson.
In deep, the Rocket with a left hand, tapped in Green.
That's the problem for Patrick Ewing as he tried to pick up Strickland taking the ball to the hoop. He left Sidney Green to go to the offensive boards, and Sidney took advantage of it.
Spurs have all 4 offensive rebounds in the game. Wilkins' rainbow chased down by Ewing. That's the other thing the Spurs have to do tonight is rebound with all 5 men because the Knicks take so many long shots. A lot of threes, a lot of long rebounds. And Green slaps it away from Ewing out of bounds. Sidney having an immediate impact tonight. And they say Ewing touched it last.
Well, I think Sid Green has played a little bit in practice against Ewing. And he's really given the Spurs a lift here as he came in to give. I think David just a little bit of time to sit there on the bench and think about it.
Well, he's going to stay in, and Robinson replaces Cummings as John Stark, second-year man from Oklahoma State, replaces Mo Cheeks for the Knicks.
This is a really different substitution pattern than Larry put into effect against Detroit, where he left most of the starters in the whole first quarter. He had Robinson out with 5 minutes to go in the quarter. It's just all these kinds of things are changes that Larry's sort of searching for a new rhythm.
David Wingate also just into the game, commits the reach foul. Ewing staggered off the floor. Type play where you can come down and twist something because you're off balance and your concentration is on the ball and not landing.
Well, he looked like he was limping a little bit as he came to the free throw line there.
Patrick Ewing all over the league ranking. 5th in rebounding, 5th in scoring, 3rd in shot blocking, right behind Robinson.
Well, he seems to be getting a lot more help from his teammates. Their team seems to be has a lot better offensive flow. They don't go to him every single time, and it must make him feel pretty good to have the numbers that he's had, but be winning some games finally.
Spurs get a break here. Oakley called for a loose ball foul on the block. See what he does to Sidney Green here. Hooked him. Wally Rooney found out, and Oakley caught in the act, his second foul. 4th against the team. 24-18. Strickland was called for traveling last time down. Guarded by Starks. Green screening. Robinson missing. David cannot buy one. He is 1 for his first 8. And the reverse falls for Starks.
Boy, terrific left-handed reverse layup.
John Starks earning the confidence of John McLeod lately. He has averaged 26 minutes over the last 4 games. Sidney Green from outside. Knicks by 6, 2:20 mark of the first. Robinson right in Ewing's face to no avail. And important now for David not to get down, not to get depressed by his start. And the effortless start by Ewing. Wingate, who teamed with Ewing for the national title at Georgetown, 28-22. Good sign whenever Wingate gets a long one to drop 34% from the field in his return. Gerald Wilkins, the 2-man game. Ewing from outside. Easy rebound, Robinson. Sean Elliott, the spin move for the runner. Not there. Ewing stripped by Green. And goaltends the left-hander. What a start by Sidney Green.
Here we got Sean going by Gerald Wilkins. Just doesn't have quite the legs to get it there. He tries to follow it to the basket, and Sid Green comes up with the ball behind Ewing, puts it up and gets the goaltend.
That shot had no chance. Ewing did the Spurs a favor. It's a 4-point game. Ewing again fall away. Again short. Oakley the board. Got elbowed in the eye by Robinson. Ewing plowing in. Rejection, David. And then the late whistle by Rooney. And the foul is Robinson's first. We see Kenny Walker for the first time, the veteran from Kentucky. And Brian Quinnett, second-year man from Washington State. Paul Pressey into the game, replacing Strickland. And the Knicks quite deep into the rotation early. We've seen everybody who's likely to play except for Trent Tucker. Perhaps Eddie Lee Wilkins into the lane. Ewing foul before the shot, I believe. We'll see if they give him the continuation. Robinson with 2 back-to-back quick ones.
Well, this really hurts Dave. He reaches in and sort of bumps Ewing, who ends up taking a difficult shot that goes in. But I think he was pretty much content. I would be content to let Ewing shoot that outside jump shot that he had going. Even he made a few of them. But when he starts taking it to the basket, you just got to stay in front of him.
They did count the bucket. No 3-point play. Knicks by 6. Final minute, first quarter. Pressey guarded by Starks. Walker fronting Green. Sidney too long, almost a spectacular follow. This one will go. Robinson's got 2 buckets, both on slam dunks, and the Spurs pressure full court. Wilkins breaks away from Anderson. Gerald Wilkins all the way for the answer.
Gerald Wilkins came up lame after that play. I don't know if he's re-injured his thigh, but that was a huge dunk right up the middle.
Green from outside. That's the type shot the Spurs don't want him to take. Gerald Wilkins again. Head of steam. Quinnett now to Starks. And the long rebound to Anderson. 21 seconds. Spurs can get the last shot if they want to. And Wingate wanted to pull it out, but he got fouled, and you're exactly right. Wilkins lame. I'm amazed that he was able to lead that second fast break. And that might have further aggravated the thigh injury. So Trent Tucker quickly will check into the game. Now the injured thigh is the right thigh. And if he came down wrong at that instant at the end of the slam, that might have been the cause of his departure. Wingate missing the free throw.
Well, right-handed players jump off their left leg, and that was where he took off the left leg. And I'm not sure how he pulled the right one, but it was just, you know, you come down and you get it at the wrong angle, and it's injured already. It's a little tight, and the muscle's a little short, and you pull it again.
Mike Saunders, the Knicks trainer, working as Wingate gets 1 of 2. That would be a major loss if Wilkins can't return. He's 4 for 5, 8 points, 3 boards. John Starks to Kenny Walker. 6 seconds. Ewing against Robinson with 3 on the way. Got it. A contortionist finish for Patrick Ewing, and from behind midcourt, Paul Pressey comes close. And we reach the end of the first quarter. New York very impressive, off to a 7-point lead. Presented by authority of the NBA and the San Antonio Spurs, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game is prohibited without the express written consent of the San Antonio Spurs. 34-27 New York. Second chance points kept the Spurs as close as they are. Robinson had a miserable first quarter. Ewing did about anything he wanted. 14 points, 5 boards, and 4 big block shots. The Knicks, 11 of their first 12. They're 16 of 23 for 70%. And the Spurs are 11 of 28 for 39%. Rebounding is even at 11 apiece. Made I thought, a pretty cogent comment between quarters, Toby. Robinson seems very confused when he's on defense. He doesn't really seem to know what he wants to do when Ewing has the ball.
Well, Patrick Ewing is a very clever player. He's very accomplished. He's come a long way as a pro. He's gotten a lot better as a pro. And he can put the ball on the floor. He can shoot the shot from outside. I don't think you have to have a plan with somebody like that. You've got to be able to push him the way you want him to go. And I don't think Dave really has an idea of what he wants to do yet.
By the way, the word on Gerald Wilkins is they'll ice his knee and he should return. So maybe he just banged knees and it's not a recurrence of his thigh injury. Knicks ball. Walker into Starks. Tucker, Quinnett, and Eddie Lee Wilkins replacing Patrick Ewing, who played all the way in the first quarter. Spurs go with Wingate, Green, Pressey, Anderson, and Robinson. Tucker, the second best three-point percentage in the NBA, 42%. Quinnett knocked around, off the glass, out of bounds, Spurs ball. Off Quinnett, last year, second-round pick out of Washington State. This year, playing twice as many games, 4 times as many minutes as he did as a rookie. And McLeod showing an early playing time again tonight. Anderson around Tucker. What a shot with the left hand. Willie Anderson with 4. Actually reached around his defender that time and then beat the help. Quinnett on the jump hook. And he is on the board. The team the Knicks are tied with in the East, Indiana leading Atlanta 58-53 at halftime. As the Spurs turn it over, Terry Cummings set to return. And Robinson taking a rest.
I think John McLeod's really gotten the ear of this Knicks team. This is the liveliest Knicks team I've seen in a while, and they're taking shots like that with confidence and making them. You've got to have the confidence from your coach to be able to just to do the things that you do best. Trent Tucker can shoot that shot with anybody, and if you give it to him, he'll take it.
This is the biggest lead of the game. 10 points. Anderson, ball away, rebound Cummings. Easy follow, and it's 39-31. That would be a great way for the Spurs to get back into this thing, continue the second chance points dominance. And traveling on Eddie Lee Wilkins. Spurs immediately can cut it to 6.
Well, Eddie Lee just took a little bit of a hop before he got started putting the ball on the floor and moved into the lane. Wally Rooney picked up on it right away with his years of experience.
7th Knick turnover. Strickland back in to run things, replacing Wingate. Cummings, low blocks against Walker. Backs him down, hooks, misses. That's the type shot the Spurs have been missing with regularity. Walker. Green got a hand on it, out of bounds, off New York again. Now they say it is New York ball. Wilkins with a screen. Green now on Tucker. Over his career, the 3rd best three-point percentage. Strickland fouled by Quinnett after he grabbed the long board. So far, the Spurs doing a good job of locating those long rebounds. Larry Brown thought that was a major key prior to this game. Detroit had the upper hand in that aspect on Sunday afternoon. Spurs had to overcome a lack of rebounding in holding Detroit to their lowest shooting and scoring totals of the year. Strickland's open shot won't fall. Rebound Cummings. Plenty of opportunities the Spurs need to get him to drop, and Strickland rejected by Quinnett one more time with the left hand. Got that one.
Well, it's just amazing how he can play in there with the big guys and get his shot off. Very seldom gets it blocked. Got it up twice that time. One time, the second time with the bad hand, and got it to go.
You have to compare him to Fat Lever, who may be the best ever at that size. 6'3", rebounding among the tall threes. Starks travel. And the Spurs get it back down 6.
Well, it's good help by Willie Anderson as he picked up Wilkins as he tried to move into the lane against Sidney Green, and then Willie was able to get back and get back to his man and create the turnover.
Anderson to fall away, cuts it to 6. Now 4. 39-35. Willie with 6, and the Knicks want a 20-second timeout. 20-second timeout. San Antonio with 6 unanswered points after they trailed by 10. 39-35, 8 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in the first half. Chance for us to remind you that you can vote for your favorite Spur, the Foot Locker favorite player. Entry forms in the Express News and at any of your 10 San Antonio Foot Locker locations. You can pick it up and drop it off. Registration forms available all over town. No purchase necessary. I have an idea who would be considered the front runner by the political pundits in that game, so it'll be interesting to see who finishes second behind the front runner. We don't want to prejudice the race. We don't want to mention it.
Not at all.
It would be admirable if somebody even came close. Eddie Wilkins fall away, rebounded by Pressey. 4-point game, Spurs fall. Anderson breakneck drive, can't get a tap, no Green. One more chance, no, and he's fouled. But Sidney Green continues to be a workhorse. Eddie Lee Wilkins with the foul. Cheeks back in for Starks. And it'll be Green, probably in the matchup with this man. Oakley replaces Kenny Walker right after his free throw.
Well, Sid Green's got everybody in New York, all his family and friends watching, I'm sure, at home. He's really starting off with a fine game.
He was a Knick from '87 to '89. They let him go in the expansion draft. Orlando picked him up. Ewing back in for Eddie Wilkins. And no doubt what McLeod has pointed out to Ewing and to Oakley when they were on the bench is the offensive rebounding. Spurs lead that category 11-3. They would not even be in the game if not for their hard work on the offensive glass. 39-36. Anderson meeting Tucker at midcourt. Cheeks against Strickland. Underneath, Quinnett foul. Terry Cummings arrived a half step late. His first against the team. Robinson returns for Sidney Green.
I think that pass we just saw from Ewing is the kind of thing that's helping to put a smile on John McLeod's face. This team is working better as a unit than they have ever had in recent years, it looks like. But if you've got a guy like Patrick Ewing, who's such a dominant player, and you can get him to he gets his game going individually, and then as you try to adjust defensively, he can make passes like that to others, to his teammates. It just makes your whole team that much better.
McLeod is our halftime guest. He'll discuss the reasons for changing the offensive pattern. Cummings misfires, knocked ahead by Tucker to Cheeks. Strickland, a headlong dive, couldn't come up with it. And Ewing charges after missing the finger roll. Willie Anderson, the man who took the full brunt of the drive by a furious Ewing.
Well, Cheeks dishes to Ewing on the run. I think Patrick may have thought Willie Anderson's a little too close to the basket to take that charge, but that looks like a pretty good and tough defensive play by Willie Anderson.
And at the other end, Robinson beats the still angry Ewing. Probably cost Patrick any chance at playing defense. Still arguing. 41-38 Knicks. 7.5 minutes first half. Two-man game. Cheeks and Ewing. Strickland got in the way. Technical foul on McLeod. Joe Borgia slapped it. This, of course, a continuation of the argument after that Ewing offensive foul. John McLeod, as head coach of the Knicks, a lot fierier, a lot more combative than he was ever as head coach of the Suns or the Mavericks.
Well, a little bit of New Yorkers running off on him, I think. Maybe just walking to work every day.
Well, also, maybe it's the fact that he has been given no indications whether they want him to return next year. He was, of course, hired 15 games into the season when they fired Stu Jackson. The Spurs a nice run to get within 2. Tucker on the line, and long 2, and it's rebounded by David Robinson. A chance to tie. Anderson cut off by Ewing. Rod Strickland around and out, and it's off the foot of Terry Cummings. And what they didn't see was Strickland get absolutely mauled as he let that shot fly.
Well, you could argue that your team takes on the personality of the coach, and John McLeod has coached some guys who are pretty laid-back guys. And maybe he feels like this team needs just to be fired up, just to be a little angry and play with a little more mental energy.
Cummings to Robinson. Tie game.
Real good example of somebody beating their man to the basket. Ewing had to come and help. Dishes it to Robinson for the easy layup.
Knicks were up 10 at 39-29. It's a 12-2 Spurs run since then with 6:47 in the half. For the young lady on the right, Steffi Graf, a chance to volley with John McIntyre, a.k.a. the Coyote. Steffi, of course, in town for the Hardcore Championships. A good sport. And I tell you, Coyote hit her with a great passing shot. Spurs with a 12-2 run over 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Cummings feeding the Admiral here to tie it at 41. And at 6 minutes and 47 seconds in the second quarter, the Spurs continue to dominate the second chance points. That's the Situation this quarter for the game, 16-2 second chance points in favor of the Spurs. Oakley and Cummings get tangled up. They say TC got in the way. That's his second, team second. New York at this point last year 40-29.
Here's an interesting pick and roll. Well, Cheeks is going to take it to the weak side.
And he got a mismatch with Cummings, drove past him. The open man was Vandeweghe with 10 points. You can make a case, though, that when they were 11 over 500 last year, they weren't playing as well as they are at 1 under 500 coming into this game. And you've mentioned it a couple of times. Much more purposeful in their play.
Well, they have some real glaring weaknesses on defense, I think, and you know it's going to be up to the Spurs to find those defense weaknesses and take advantage of them. But they really seem to be playing hard. They're setting hard picks, and they're really being aggressive with what they're trying to do.
Pressey tied it up. Wilkins hits Ewing. The lean in, and this time he gets the call. It's on Anderson. It's his first, and Ewing, one of those dangerous lands where he was lucky not to injure a wrist. Look at the way he falls after the contact.
Well, that's just a really difficult shot right there. He's leaning over somebody trying to avoid the charge, and just has great touch. Didn't even use the backboard, just went right in with it.
Cummings in the lane early, nobody spotted it. And 17 for Ewing. At the other end, Pressey threw it away. He knew Robinson was in the area. Cheeks off to Wilkins. That's a big make. All of a sudden, it's a 5-point Knicks lead again. Wilkins returning after that brief knee problem late in the first quarter. Robinson held off by Ewing. Slips it down to Anderson. 3 seconds in the lane. The presence of Ewing is doing to the Spurs what the presence of Robinson does to most teams they play, as Elliott replaces Pressey.
Well, there you saw the real difference in strength between Robinson and Ewing at this point in their career. Ewing does a really good job of using his upper body and his shoulders to knock David back a little bit to get room to move. That time Robinson came up, tried to straighten up, and Ewing just knocked him backwards with his upper body strength.
Vandeweghe 2 more. Vandeweghe is 6 for 6. All the way for Willie. It's Willie's type of game. They're going up and down. A much more high-scoring affair than what the Spurs have played lately. That's where he really thrives. He almost got the strip. Ewing through the hands of Oakley.
Well, Patrick Ewing just about doing everything he can to help his Knicks team tonight. That time Oakley just was thinking about where he was going just before he got the ball, and it went right through his hands.
Sidney Green replacing Cummings. 10th New York turnover. That is a lot with 4.5 minutes still to play in the half. Rattled in for Green. 9 for Sidney Green. He averages 6. He's been in double figures only 11 times all year. He may have it by halftime. 4-on-2 led by Anderson. Strickland to Elliott. And the Spurs are within 1. John McLeod will use another timeout. This is what he did in New York. He burned a lot of timeouts in the first half. It worked in that game. We'll see what happens here. Stop by any one of the 28 area Chevy Geo dealers and register to win 4 VIP tickets and limo service to and from the April 10th Spurs-Portland game, and a chance to shoot at halftime for cash in a 1991 Corvette. Other prizes include gift certificates to the Spurs shop and tickets to other Spurs home games. A nice prize for a game that will be long sold out. April 10th, the Spurs in Portland. We have 4:06 and a half in this game. It's been a game of runs. Has to feel good for all the Spurs to be able to get out and do any running. You can count on one hand the fast breaks they had in Orlando, Miami, and here against Detroit put together. Here, it's really a Western Conference type pace. 50-49 New York, and still Over 4 minutes before halftime. Knicks not a team that plays this style that often. They may enjoy it as well. 5 on the shot clock. Elliott off the ball foul against Vandeweghe, and Sean thought that Kiki gave him a flop here.
Well, here's a pretty good battle, Sean and Kiki Vandeweghe. Sean was just moving in front of him, and Kiki lost his balance, and Sean gets the foul.
Ewing got Robinson up. David lucky he didn't get called for his 3rd foul. There was some contact on the shot. Anderson has Green. Spurs lead. Sidney Green with 11. It's the first Spurs lead of the night. Oakley, rejection, Anderson, Green ahead to Willie. And fouled by Gerald Wilkins. Willie trying to split Wilkins and Cheeks. Will go to the line.
That's about the 4th, maybe 5th time Willie Anderson has helped out somebody on defense and created a turnover. He gets the ball in the midcourt and just tries to take it all the way to the hoop. Gerald Wilkins has a few words for the official right there.
Boy, the 2 guys who have raised their level tonight are Anderson and Green. Spurs would be lost without those 2. Green for almost another 2. Halfway down, Spurs still lead by 1. 3-minute mark of the half. Ewing doubled this time. They want the ball out of his hands. 7 to shoot. Whips it to Vandeweghe for the 3. 40th three-pointer of the year for Vandeweghe. He had missed 7 straight. And he puts the Knicks up by 2. This is where you and I disagree a little bit. The Knicks already with 2 clutch 3-pointers by Tucker, now by Vandeweghe. The Spurs don't look for 3-pointers at this point of the game. And because of those 2, the Knicks lead by 2.
Well, you know, I see your point. I don't think the Spurs have those kinds of talents. But Larry Brown's never going to focus on him anyway. It's just not the kind of coach he is.
Just a moment ago, out of the double team, Ewing's going to spot Vandeweghe for the 3. What about the psychological effect of this, though? Even though it's early, just planting the seed in the Spurs defenders' minds that however tempted they might be to pack everybody in on Ewing, guys like that guy and Trent Tucker can burn them potentially anytime it happens. In the meantime, the Spurs pay-per-view game this coming Tuesday night against Magic Johnson and the Lakers, available by calling 222-0500. Also, you can see the game at the Sports Pub, Champions, Tiffany Billiards, or Fatso's Barbecue. That's the Spurs and the Lakers. And that's another 7 p.m. early start time next Tuesday. Back to our argument.
Well, I think Portland Trailblazers, the best teams in the league. I think the world champions last year and the year before. They really have a great outside game, which opens up the court. I think you have to figure out a way to open up the court to win a world championship. You can't play with people down there in the paint like the Spurs kind of defenses the Spurs face a lot. The problem is that it's difficult to find people that, number one, can play great defense, which is what Larry Brown is looking for, and that can hit shots from the perimeter that the kind of guys that Portland has and that Detroit has. Those are difficult guys to find.
So it would be a trade-off he's not willing to make.
He would not put up with Kiki Vandeweghe's defense to get that 3-pointer. Larry Brown would never put up with that kind of poor defense in order to get that 3-pointer. And if the Spurs were doing what Larry Brown would prefer, you'd get Vandeweghe out of the game because he simply cannot guard Sean Elliott. But right now, Vandeweghe's killing him.
Rod Strickland working against Mo Cheeks. Here's the Spurs perimeter deficit. Elliott stays outside, and what do you know? Nails a 3. The power of suggestion, I guess.
Well, I don't think he thinks Vandeweghe can guard him. I don't think he's getting the ball enough. I think he's a little frustrated. He wants to have a big game. Vandeweghe hits a 3 that he didn't expect him to shoot, and just no percentage in it. And Elliott's going to do everything he can to pay him back.
First miss by Vandeweghe. He was 7 for 7. Green ran the floor. Strickland didn't spot him. Now does. Sidney steps over the end line. The Spurs continue to be just a half second off. That much out of sync. Walker back in. Had Strickland spotted Green in time, that's an easy demoralizing coup.
I mean, I think Sean Elliott thinks he can score every time he wants in this quarter. And he's just not seeing the ball.
He's shot 4 times and he's made all 4 free throws for 11 points. Vandeweghe's got 15 points on his 7 of 8 shooting. Ryan Quinnett back in. Brent Tucker, second three-pointer of the night. And 51st of the year. About every third field goal he makes is a three-pointer. Not sure who Willie intended that pass for. Elliott was the nearest Spur, but he was cutting underneath. Nick Ball, they lead by 2, 56-54, minute 23 and a half. Quinnett left free. Green late arriving, Quinnett burned it. Averages 4, has 6, all here in the second period.
Well, this New York team looks like they're turning into the kind of a team that you have to beat with your offense. They seem to be coming down and getting the shots that they want and making them. And right now, the Spurs are going to have to stay with them with their offense.
Brown with a 20-second timeout. It's a real departure, though, this type pace, because in the last 10 games the Knicks have played, 6 of their last 10 opponents haven't scored 100 points.
Well, mostly because of that guy right there. I mean, their interior defense, mostly because of him, is superior. But you've got to be able to isolate people like Vandeweghe and Tucker and these guys that are excellent offensive players and very poor defensive players and take advantage of them. But that's the backup guy. The thing that the Spurs have going for him is that he has to pay attention to David Robinson. There's a lot of teams in the league where he doesn't have to pay attention to the defensive center at all. He can just stand in there in the paint and keep everybody from laying the ball in. Against this Spur team, he should be paying attention to David and still have the problem of dealing with the rest of these Spurs coming into the lane.
Anderson, a tough shot with Tucker in his face, knocks around and around. Loose ball foul. Terry Cummings. And he didn't like his second foul, but he really hates his third foul, and that's going to get Green quickly back into the game. Terry in there for about maybe 8 seconds. Right back out. 6 points, 5 boards for TC.
Well, the Spurs coaches are anticipating some kind of a zone trap after free throws, which is a trend that I'm sure they saw in scouting this team. We'll see if John McLeod feels like it's the right time with less than a minute left.
Kenny Walker, if you just judge him statistically, there's David Greenwood yet to get off the pine tonight. Walker has a 5th pick in the draft, a disappointment. Ball away, Elliott right back to work. He's got 13 to lead the Spurs. 60-56 New York. A real shootout tonight at Hemisphere Arena. Tucker guarded by Wingate. Cheeks, a long 2-pointer. His first 2 on his first shot tonight. He's already dealt for 8 assists. Strickland has 7. And Elliott again challenges Vandeweghe. Had some help in the neighborhood in the person of Walker. The foul is on Vandeweghe, his second.
Well, Sean Elliott should have 20 points in this half, and Kiki Vandeweghe should have 3 or 4 fouls already. I mean, he just hasn't gotten the ball enough times.
Sean 4 for 4 at the stripe. Spurs are going to get Avery Johnson in. This is also Paul Pressey in for Willie Anderson. Boy, this is Avery's time of the game. We were kidding him in Miami because he literally played a few seconds in the close of the third quarter. Drove, had a 3-point opportunity, came in for a few seconds in the fourth quarter, immediately hit a shot.
And those quality seconds.
They were calling him Baby Microwave after Miami. They were QS. Quality seconds. 62-58. Knicks by 4. Johnson to pressure Cheeks. 18 to shoot. 21 of the game clock. A lot of perimeter firepower out there right now for New York, and they have 5 seconds to shoot it. Vandeweghe to Tucker. And the two-pointer is no good. It is chased down by Pressey, who stepped out with 1.2 seconds. Knicks will get one more chance. Spurs did everything but grab the ball that time. And they'll get Walker in. Walker will inbound it. And the Spurs will put Wingate on him after all. 1.2 seconds. Alley-oop. And Green almost accidentally tipped it into the wrong basket. He broke it up, and it almost cost him 2 points. We go to halftime. John McLeod trying to become the first Knicks coach to sweep the Spurs in 7 years, and he's halfway there.
It would really be a huge effort for the Spurs, but then they play better against the tougher teams. So, we'll see what happens. Utah seems to have the easiest schedule of everybody left.
Quick knockaway by Elliott. Yeah, so far the tough team theory is holding. Spurs played perhaps their best defense of the year against Detroit Sunday afternoon. Off 1 foot, Ewing. 19 for Patrick Ewing. And it's 64-58. Spurs need some of that same type of D in the second half here. Elliott with a bad start, throwing it away, out of control, had no idea where Cummings was. He just happened to be the nearest Spur. And you don't like, if you're Larry Brown, to see a half begin that way.
Wrong place on the floor for Sean.
Anderson to help on Ewing. Ball away in the baseline. Knocked out. Wally Rooney had to pause to decide where he wanted to point, and I think he called it correct. He said out off Cummings. Boy, but it took him a long time to make up his mind. Trent Tucker into the game.
Well, even if you want him to make the right decision, even if it takes, it looked like Wally made the right decision on that play, even though he hesitated for a bit.
Ewing out of the double team. Vandeweghe, now Oakley, now Tucker in there for Wilkins. Ball away, Ewing. Robinson right in his face. He still got it. So he's outscored the Admiral tonight, 21-8. And in less than a minute and 10 seconds in the third quarter, Larry Brown already wants time. Chance to win an autograph party with the Spurs Coyote on Monday, April 8th, when the Spurs take on the Golden State Warriors. Winners receive 2 tickets to the game as well as a pregame party with the Coyotes. Stop by any San Antonio area Bank One location to register. Larry Brown not happy at all with the first minute and 3 seconds of the second half. Spurs down by 8, 66-58. They have given Pat Ewing 2 quick buckets, and they've turned it over on an ill-advised move by Sean Elliott. As a result, Brown quickly burned his 3rd full timeout, which brings him even with John McLeod, who called 2 fulls in the second quarter, and now just about ready to go. Knicks under McLeod, by the way, are right at 500, 27-27, with losses in overtime at Dallas and then at Houston, trying to avoid the 0 for Texas win. Back home for them after tonight. Cummings to back down Oakley. And feed Anderson. Can you be any more open than that? And that's the type shots that refuse to fall for the Spurs. And here, tack on an over the back foul on Robinson. His 3rd.
Well, a bit of a late call, too, as David going for that offensive rebound. Both players had hit the floor and the ball had moved somewhere else, and the officials blew his whistle.
Well, Brown sees shots like that not fall, and he says, I'm just happy that we're getting the shots. So don't worry, they will eventually fall. But it's been a long time since they have. Ewing from 18. One of his few misses. Anderson, nice save. And Strickland to Cummings. He had a mismatch against Cheeks, didn't take him in. Elliott on the run, and count it. Wilkins second.
It's a pretty good ball movement from Strickland to Sean, who goes right by Wilkins, gets in the lane, good control.
Knicks with a lot of individual defensive weaknesses. Wilkins with a bad reach that time. Sean went past him, got the three-point play. You can have weaknesses as long as you've got number 33 at the back end. He'll cover up a mile of problems. Not bad on this end either. Throws it away. That time Robinson holding his ground in front of Ewing. Oakley went backdoor. Ewing fired him a fastball, and he couldn't hang on. 12th Knick turnover.
Terry Cummings gave Oakley a pretty good shot on that play. He looked up like he was expecting a foul call.
Robinson wanted the alley-oop. He had Vandeweghe fronting him, and it's Elliott burning Vandeweghe outside. Sean with the first 5 in the quarter for the Spurs, and they're within 3.
Well, when you talk about experience as a pro, Sean Elliott knows he's going to he's ready tonight. He's just trying to figure out where he can get his shots from. He started off the quarter so excited he just sort of made a play that nobody was ready for.
And then he grabs the rebound off the miss by Ewing. Sean Elliott all the way, breakneck drive. He gets fouled and is okay. Got to hold your breath when he lands the way he did. The foul is Ewing's 3rd.
Well, this is the kind of thing that really helps David Robinson. Before this game's over, if Patrick Ewing has 4 or 5 fouls, it's going to be that much more difficult because he's the backup help for all these Knick defenders.
Sean has missed 1 shot tonight. He is 6 of 7 from the field, 8 for 8 at the line, 21 points. It's his 15th 20-point game of the year. Spurs within 1. 22nd timeout for the Knicks. And a streaky game has produced most recently a Spurs streak. They've run off the last 7 points since their timeout less than 2 minutes ago. This with 9:16 still to play in the 3rd quarter. And the Spurs with that 7-point run, tightening things up on New York. More importantly, really, is the method with which they've gotten 7 straight points. Done a lot of very smart things.
Well, one that's not so smart. Now, here I am harping about the same thing. The Spurs came out of a timeout, and they went down, and they isolated Terry Cummings on Charles Oakley. Arguably, they're probably 2nd best defensive player. Why they did that, I have no idea. There's other guys that I would rather isolate. Off of that shot over the top of Oakley, Robinson gets his 3rd foul, trying for the offensive rebound.
Robinson came out to help on Vandeweghe. That left all alone Patrick Ewing, 23 points. In the last 5 games the Knicks have played, Ewing has led both teams in each of the 5 games. And he's doing it again here. Robinson tripled. They dare Strickland to hit, and he's equal to the task. 6 points for the Rocket. 9 assists. Spurs again within 1. Gerald Wilkins harassed by Willie Anderson. Spurs extend the lead all the way across the floor. Ewing with room to drive. That one will not count. They'll wave it off. However, it might be Robinson's 4th foul, and it is, and it's against Oakley, I believe.
Well, here's a play. I don't know if we get a chance to see this. As Oakley's sort of setting a walking pick into Robinson. Robinson sort of pushes him. Oakley flops, and Robinson's got his 4th foul. Trouble for the Spurs.
That was a bit cheap. David smiling in disbelief as he's replaced by Sidney Green. Still can't believe it. Major league flop by Oakley. And Gerald Wilkins misses the finger roll. Spurs get a chance to lead. Strickland all the way up, wraparound feed, Sidney Green.
There you see Ewing picking up Strickland going to the basket. He just slips it right around Ewing, and Sidney Green has the easy layup.
All the way in. Cheeks lost it. It went to Gerald Wilkins. And then Strickland almost with the steal. Cheeks in deep again. His scoop good. Rarely looks to shoot. Rarely has. in his 13-year career. He's 2 for 2 tonight. 4 points, 8 assists. Elliott, 2 more. 7 for 8. 24 points. And Vandeweghe so afraid of his drive now, he's daring Sean to hit the 20-footers, and Sean's just staying out there and stroking him one after another. Oakley, that's not his spot on the floor. It is here, his 4th point. Oakley subpar their last game at Houston. 8 points, only 5 boards. His rebounding low since January 2nd. 4 lead changes tonight. Cheeks with the steal. All-time NBA steals leader. Got another one. Ewing. Rebound Green. Good job by Elliott sticking a hand in Ewing's face. Bad pass by Sidney Green. However, a nice catch by the gentleman in the front row. And Wilkins will work on Anderson. Oakley to Ewing. 25 for Ewing. Knicks by 3, 74-71.
Well, I don't think that kind of play from Ewing is what's going to beat the Spurs. I think that.
Here's a 3 by Elliott. Just his 2nd miss of the night. Loose ball foul. Spurs disagreeing with almost every whistle here in the 3rd quarter. That's on Green, his first 3rd team.
I think Ewing shooting from 20 is something that if he makes them all and they win, you just shake his hand. It's a super night. But you've got to prevent these other guys on the Knicks team from hurting you.
Vintage Vandeweghe. Quick first step, lean in, scoop, draws contact. That would be Elliott's 3rd. And the 4th against the team. Now Elliott in this period has outscored him 9-0. So are you seeing what you wanted to see in the first half?
Yeah, except for that last play. I think if he could just get Vandeweghe isolated a little bit, I think he could take him off the drive and get him into foul trouble. That's where you want to get him out of the game. You either get him close enough to you so that you can get him to draw a foul, but to shoot over the top, you have to shoot over the top to get him to guard you. And once you get him out there, then you beat him off the dribble. But this is what really experience in the NBA is all about, is learning how to do these things against different guys every night.
Offensive foul again on Green. And even for Sidney, he's really upset about this. He's going to chase Wally Rooney all the way down the other end of the floor. He generally has something to say about most whistles. But he had a look of sincerity about him that time. Cheeks right past him. Sidney may be a little distracted by the previous foul call, and Cheeks noticed that, and it's 8 unanswered New York points. They lead by 7. This run belongs to New York. 8 straight to make it 78-71. 5:29 in the 3rd quarter. Dave Barnett and Kobe Dietrich from Hemisphere Arena. Spurs trying to stretch their home winning streak to 8 in a row. Strickland up against Cheeks. No personnel changes during the timeout. They look for Elliott. Vandeweghe won't let him drive. Cummings right back to him. He will go in deep, and the runner rejected by Patrick Ewing quite rudely. That is his 5th block.
This is the problem with having, when David Robinson's not in the game, Patrick Ewing is free to just camp right in the paint.
3 on the shot clock, knocked away from Green. Willie, a 3 at the buzzer. Rebound, Cummings. Backs down Oakley, falls away. Tip Green. Sidney with a new season high, 15 points. He should play the Knicks more often. 7 for 12, 6 rebounds. Oakley out of the double team from Ewing. Lost it.
Boy, really good off the ball play by Rod Strickland. as the double team left Oakley alone, going right down to the middle, and Strickland recognized it, knocked the ball off of his leg.
And one thing has returned for the Spurs, and that's their dominance on the glass. This is what we saw about every night first couple of months of the season. Offensive boards 13-3. Isolation Cummings. Oakley tied on him. Wingate to Elliott. Nobody on him. Big mistake. Usually not here. Ewing kicks to Wilkins. Pull-up jumper by Gerald. Finds the mark. 12 points. And with that much time to play in the third, still a 7-point Knick advantage. They led by 7 after 1, by 4 at halftime. Ewing put Green on the deck. No call. They say Green flopped. Knocked away from Elliott. Point blank. Cummings won't get the roll. Rebound Vandeweghe. No time for the Spurs to go cold again. The Knicks are still 61% for the game. Fall away Ewing. And Vandeweghe touched it last. Ryan Quinnett into the game for New York for Vandeweghe. Spurs will counter with Paul Pressey. John Starks likewise checking in for the Knicks. Next dead ball. Pace has slowed considerably, which has not been to the Spurs' liking. Good duck under by Cummings, and he'll go to the line. Spurs will lobby for goaltending. It wasn't. It's the third foul on Wilkins, third against the team, and now Starks and Pressey check in. Well, add 1 to Wilkins' total, and add a technical to boot. We had him with 3. It is his 4th foul, and now the tee to be shot by Paul Pressey. Technicals tonight on McLeod and now Wilkins. He will depart with a parting shot for Wally Rooney. Trent Tucker into the game. Strickland replaced. As TC will shoot the 2. Terry only 3 of 9 from the field. Wilkins still simmering over there on the bench. This one to make it a 4-point game, 80-76. And the Spurs pick it up yet another notch defensively. Wingate all over Starks. Cummings likewise on Oakley, in deep to Quinnett, and Quinnett turns on Willie Anderson and uses his power advantage.
Well, the Knicks did a real good job of finding the defensive player that they wanted to attack. Quinnett against Willie Anderson, a bit of a mismatch.
Oakley from behind Cummings, and that is out of bounds to the Spurs. They'll have 9 on the shot clock. Kenny Walker in for New York. He replaces Oakley. And an alert Starks with a steal, then an obvious Sidney Green foul, wrapping up Starks at midcourt. His 3rd, team's 5th. Sid wanting to do whatever he had to prevent the breakaway. And Starks not all that good a free throw shooter, 73% for the year, but he has made his last 10. Really strange route to the NBA. He played only 1 year in high school. He played at 4 different colleges, finishing at Oklahoma State. He's an all-star in the CBA. Knicks signed him as a free agent in October, and he's still a Knick in March. Elliott back in, replacing Terry Cummings. John, who equaled his season high with 10 boards Sunday against the Knicks. All the way into Green. Walker got the block. Green got it back. Slapped away by Ewing. Tough going in the low post for the Spurs. Quinnett out to Tucker, now Starks. Ewing from 15, missed everything, right to Tucker, who pirouettes and travels.
Well, we had a really good example of Sean taking the ball all the way to the hoop and getting Ewing off of his feet, but the Spurs weren't able to convert.
Green called for it, wants to work on Ewing. Out to Wingate. Now Pressey, top of the key. Got it. Pressey with 5. The lead is 5. And if the first 3 quarters are any indication, we got a whale of a fourth quarter coming up. Walker, contortionist as he misses and rebounded by Elliott. Anderson. And they'll slow it down. Back in, Starks with a bump from behind. And the Spurs will not get free throws here. Eddie Wilkins in, replacing Ewing. This is the first Knick foul in the last 2 minutes. And Ewing sucking air, having played almost the entire game today. 25 points for him. Anderson on Quinnett. Pull-up jumper, too much. One-handed, Starks for the board. And Wilkins fouled hard by Green, landed hard. Well, Sidney Green maybe settling some old scores.
Well, continuing on my theme of the wrong people in the wrong place, here we had, in that time down the court, we had Willie Anderson guarded by Quinnett. Sidney Green standing right there in the lane, posting up Eddie Wilkins. To me, I look out there and I go, Quinnett can't stay with Willie Anderson. Willie Anderson is too good an offensive player. If I clear that side and give Willie a little bit more room, he's not forced into that kind of a shot.
Big hand here for Dwayne Shinsis, replacing Green. No action at all for Dwayne in 5 of the last 7 games. And he checked in after Green's 4th foul. 84-78 Knicks. Pressey's leader off the glass, and Paul regaining his shooting touch. After an extended slump, he was 8 for his last 34 from the field over the previous 6 games. He's 3 of 5 tonight. Walker over Shinsis, it would have counted. It is Sean Elliott's 4th personal foul. He, Robinson, and Green all with 4. And Kenny Walker will be at the line. We're enjoying, in all likelihood, only the final seconds of the 3rd quarter. Probably back on the bench when the 4th quarter begins.
Well, I think Larry wants to give Sean another break, give him an extra minute sitting here at the quarter break. He had him out of the game briefly and then had to get him back in. Sean's played a lot of minutes in the second half so far. They're going to need him in the 4th quarter.
Walker got them both. The Spurs have the edge at the line, but they also have the only real foul trouble in the game. Now, Wilkins the only Knick with 4. Spurs have 3 players with 4. And immediately Sean Higgins, what has become his trademark this rookie year. The quick jumper off the bench to cut it back to 4. He has that uncoachable knack of heating up the minute he sets foot on the floor. And you really notice that in a rookie. Pressey knocked it away. Did it touch Tucker? It did. Spurs ball. Pressey creates the New York turnover.
Well, Paul just had a long arm out there in the passing lane. He touched the ball just a little bit and it went off Tucker and went out of bounds.
15th by the Knicks. Brown tried in vain to get Avery Johnson in to run this play. 12 on the shot clock. And it's Anderson working on Tucker. 7 to shoot. Turnaround, Pressey, no. Wingate, acrobatic rebound, knocked out of bounds. Knicks ball for the final 5.5 seconds. And now Avery Johnson will replace Paul Pressey. A.J. the mini microwave. As Tucker goes to his man Starks. Long three. Good. John Starks at the buzzer. Another one of those timely three-point nails. 89-82 as we head to the fourth. 4 for the game in the third period. Only 8.7 boards through 3. Ewing has outscored him by 17 on 11 of 24. Robinson has taken only 11 shots and made 4. Rebounding close, blocks close. Offense has been the difference for Patrick Ewing. And Dwayne Shinsis will start this fourth quarter. And he'll be on the floor with the Admiral and Wingate, Pressey, and Johnson outside.
So we'll see if Dwayne lines up defensively against Patrick Ewing, or sort of to protect David on defense.
That would be an interesting gamble by Brown, because there is no way Shinsis is mentally or physically prepared to guard Ewing yet at this stage in his career. Right now, Ewing comes up for the steal from behind Robinson. Wingate steals it right back. If he can find his footing. He got it. Now Shinsis to A.J. Great steal by Wingate. Robinson again to the low post, and again the Knicks come up with a steal. John Starks ahead to Tucker. To Walker, and Ewing from the high post comes up short. Shinsis banging bodies with Walker and Quinnett, and the foul will be on Kenny Walker. But with Green saddled with 4 fouls, Cummings ineffective tonight, it makes some sense to give Shinsis a chance. Rod Strickland back in, replacing Johnson.
Some sense, but what a strange night. This is a strange game. Amazing pace.
Pressey with a step on Walker, hit the side of the glass. Walker got his second quick foul. And Pressey, with 7 points so far, will be at the line. Well, they're in overtime at New Jersey. Philly by 1 there, 93-92 with a minute 24 to play. Indiana leading Atlanta with 1 minute to play, 119-111, 2 minutes left. Charlotte by only 1 over Golden State, 92-91. 2 minutes left. Miami by only 5 over Cleveland, 97-92. 8 minutes in the first quarter. Phoenix already up 11-2 over Minnesota. Alley-oop to Quinnett. Perfectly done between Starks and Quinnett. They've gone from the very end of the bench to playing key off-the-bench roles for John McLeod down the stretch. We haven't seen Mark Jackson at all in either game against the Spurs. Robinson at air ball. Shinsis almost able to tap it in. And thrown away by Trent Tucker. And John Starks sends somebody on their back. Somebody did a complete somersault back there. Wrong place, wrong time for that gentleman.
Dr. Pace with a beer in his jacket.
Oh, a beer that was pretty soon to be on his jacket, I think.
One of the premier hand surgeons in town.
And leave it to you to know him personally. Got to towel off the ball. They got to take that one out of play. That ball's got a visible stain on it. You can't continue with that ball. Luckily, the doctor is okay, and already replenished with another beer. Now that's service. And the Spurs with a big possession here, down 8, needing some momentum. This has been a long 6-8 point run. The Knicks keeping the lead at a fairly comfortable margin, and the foul is on Trent Tucker. 3 quick New York team fouls. Spurs have yet to commit one in the fourth quarter. It'll be Strickland on the line. Rod, as a starter, had his best game since his return with 16 points against the Pistons. Almost missed everything. This is his first double-figure assist game since his return. And he's 3 points away from his 11th double-double of the year. Ewing to drive on the Admiral. Off balance, got fouled. He slid just like the doctor a moment ago, but he didn't have a beer in his hand. This is Chestis for his first. Boy, as this game has gone on, Patrick Ewing has gained confidence, and David Robinson has disappeared. Absolutely no impact in the second half. Not that much in the first half. And Ewing, meanwhile, with 26.
Well, he's doing a really good job of continuing to do his thing with the rest of his teammates picking up their offensive level and their offensive concentration. It used to be the Patrick Ewing show, and now the Knicks are doing. Everybody's contributing and doing a lot of things, and Patrick's still getting his game.
Wingate way short. Knicks also doing a much better job cutting off penetration. Although this is another Kenny Walker foul. 3 quick ones, 4 against the team. Rod Strickland has not been able to drive the way he did in the first half. Terry Cummings back into the game. He replaces Shinson. 10:02 and counting. Knicks by 9. One off their big lead of the night. And again, Strickland unable to drive. Cummings, triple team, fall away, no roll. Rebound, Robinson in traffic, and he's fouled, and that might be another one on Walker. Kenny Walker threatening the NBA record if he stays in there. He might foul out quicker than any man in history. And that record by memory is about 7 minutes.
Well, he just could not handle David Robinson on the offensive boards. That time Ewing just picked up Terry Cummings on that fall away. David just moved into the basket for the offensive rebound. Kenny Walker was the only one there to prevent him from just going up and dunking it. Had to foul him.
David's first point of the half, 9th of the game. You know, Olajuwon doesn't do this to him.
Well, we haven't seen Houston and what they're doing now. Olajuwon and Ewing both had very similar games where the ball came into them very static. Everybody else sort of sat and watched while they did their thing. Houston obviously has changed the focus of the way they set up their offensive attack as well.
Brett Tucker was open, missed it 2. Spurs run, they've got numbers. 3-on-2. Strickland looked off, Starks got it. Great drive by the Rocket, and it's a 5-point New York lead.
What remains to be seen from the Knicks is whether or not all these secondary players can continue at this level and shoot this well as we close out this game.
3-pointer Tucker. Battle for the board, won by Quinnett into Ewing. Fall away, and 29 for the game. 95-88. Patrick Ewing has had an answer for everything tonight. Wingate around the horn to Pressey. Not close. Slapped by Robinson to Kenny Walker. And the Knicks run. They've got Quinnett underneath. Tucker to slow it. And we have barely seen anything this half of either Cheeks or Wilkins, the starting guards. Starks on a penetration to Quinnett. And a rather emphatic follow by Ewing.
Huge offensive rebound by Patrick Ewing.
Timeout Spurs. Too much Ewing tonight so far with 8:23 to play. The Spurs need to get started. Something cooking, and right back come the Knicks. The follow slam by Ewing got Brown up for a timeout, and it's 97-88 with 8 minutes and 23 seconds to play. And we keep expecting the Knicks to cool off, and they keep refusing. They are still, for the game, at 57%. The guards are 13 of 19. Wilkins 6 of 8. Cheeks 3 of 3. And Tucker ruining the curve at only 2 for 7. Spurs as a team 44% on 39. Or I should say the Spurs 34-77. The Knicks 39 of 68. And it's been their way throughout. Knicks were at 60% at the half. Barely looking back this half. However, Patrick Ewing may be about to get a break here. Or else he's just the last guy off the bench. He is staying in the game. Oakley the only change, replacing Kenny Walker. Spurs stick with their same 5. Pressey against Quinnett. Cummings lob in. They again double Robinson every time he touches it down low. Wingate on the drive. 5 for the gate. 97-90.
I think Ewing shot a look at Wally Rooney. He thought David Robinson moved him out of a defensive position that time.
Spurs pack it in. Tucker missed another 3. Wingate battling Oakley, and the loose ball foul is going to get the Spurs up and howling. It's on David. They're going to claim that Oakley was doing what Ewing claimed Robinson was doing, moving him out.
Well, it looked like it. I mean, Charles Oakley is an excellent rebounder, excellent offensive rebounder and defense. That time he looked like he was backing up into Wingate to create that contact.
Isolation, Ewing. That is a must rebound, and it goes to Tucker. Wingate finally clears. Strickland dumped down to TC. 97-92.
Well, Ewing took a swipe at the ball at the offensive end down here. Was late getting back and wasn't able to help on that interior play.
McLeod for a timeout. His lead chopped to 5. 7:27 to go. 52 Knicks. 7:27 to play. They have led at the end of each of the first 3 periods. Spurs have had a few leads. They haven't lasted. Mainly because Ewing is on an incredible roll. And he spins away from Robinson and loses the ball to Gate. Into David. And the arena rocks. It's a 3-point game. Now that's the old Spurs. Come out, clamp on the D, get some easy points. 6 straight. Wilkins back in, missing. Rebound chased down by Wingate. And it's Elliott on the drive, back to the Rocket with the left hand. He's short, and Robinson lost the rebound out of bounds. Did it touch Wilkins? It did. In the opinion of Wally Rooney. A whole new energy level in this building after that timeout. Vandeweghe returns. Vandeweghe has no field goals this half. 2-man game. Strickland again no good. And Rodney still not showing the usual touch as long as he's got that cast on his right hand.
Well, you wonder when he put up that left-handed shot if he just felt like he just didn't have the feel with that cast on to put it up right-handed.
Mo Cheeks back in, lost it to David. This is 3-on-3. Strickland inside and good.
He tricked Ewing. Patrick was afraid to jump. He thought he was going to dump it to Cummings, and he just sort of looked him off and took it right to the basket.
Bedlam at Hemisphere Arena. Halfway mark, quarter number 4. Gerald Wilkins one-on-one with Wingate, lost it. Cheeks picks it up, 5 on the clock. Rebound Cummings. Again the Spurs run. Wingate. Robinson, high post, and rebounded by Vandeweghe. That would have been huge. It would have given the Spurs the lead. Brown, I don't think, liked the shot selection. Not that early. Cheeks out to Vandeweghe, and there's his first second-half field goal. Give him 19 for the game. Knicks again by 3. 22nd timeout, San Antonio.
Willie Anderson's coming in for David Wingate. He was looking over at Larry Brown, asking to get out of the game. He's really been hustling. Got a little winded. Here we got a shot of Mo Cheeks hitting that seam. Sean takes a step in to help out on defense, leads Vanderway, who just buries the jump shot.
19 for Vanderway. Spurs next in action against Orlando. That's here, 7:30. HSE and the radio network will carry the game beginning at 7 o'clock. There are still a few tickets available for that game. Avery Johnson replaces Rod Strickland. Interesting timing for the substitution. And his off-the-ball activity.
Vanderway just holding on to Sean Elliott. Didn't want to let him loose through the lane. Comes up with his 4th foul.
Well, his 3rd, but the 5th against the team. Wingate also getting a rest, and Willie Anderson returns. Elliott can again make it a 1-point New York lead. He has 24. Always means a lot to play what was his hometown team. Larry Brown, a native of Brooklyn. First miss at the line by Sean, 99-97 New York. 5-minute mark. Wilkins with a Ewing screen in the 2-man game. They'll pick and roll. Wilkins picked up by Robinson. Vanderway for 3. Rimmed it. Rebound Oakley. Put back too hard. Elliott looks up court. Knicks hustle back. Robinson to drive on Ewing. Cut him off. Anderson. Bad luck on the shot. Loose ball foul. Sean Elliott, and that is huge. That is his 5th. And offensively speaking, if there's one Spur they cannot afford to lose, it's Sean Elliott.
Well, John McLeod did an interesting thing as he switched Vanderway on to Willie Anderson, a guy he doesn't think is that into this game offensively. Put Gerald Wilkins on Sean Elliott.
Sean staying in. Strickland back in for AJ. Lean in Ewing. Travel. And the Knicks turn it over for the 21st time. From here on in, it's a playoff preview. The pace of the game, the intensity, the noise, all will be as it will be come April. Knocked away from Elliott, out of bounds. What a play by Patrick Ewing.
I think that was Vanderway that got a hand on that ball. It's the first time they've really isolated Sean in the game.
Ewing came out, picked up Elliott. He might be right. Might have been Vanderway, in fact, who did reach in. That one off the leg of Wilkins. Battle won by Sean. Spurs need 2 to tie. And a whistle.
Vanderway again.
That would be his 4th. And he and Gerald Wilkins both with 4 for the Knicks. Not much in this second half for Kiki. John has 10 of his 25 in the second half. And now, after making his first 10 free throws, he misses 2. Spurs for the night are 20 of 26 and trail still by 2.
Well, if it's all in the legs, John's a little tired.
Gathers himself to make it a 1-point game. Well, at the beginning of the year, there were people who thought this might be a finals preview. It's been played up to that caliber for the most part. Although finals preview would be a long shot. Rebound. Robinson off the miss by Wilkins. Spurs can take the lead. And look at what happens to Rod Strickland. He got caught in a mix-master. The foul will be on Ewing. His 4th.
There are guards that do this a lot on purpose. where they'll move over into a lane that the big center is running in and just slow up and let the center run over him. I'm not sure if Strickland did that, but the domino effect, everybody crashed into everybody, and Robinson shoots a free throw.
I'm a little surprised that it's not Strickland shooting. Starks back in.
Well, it looked like Strickland got in front of Patrick Ewing, and he sort of tripped over him. I guess he crashed into Robinson.
Tie game, 99 all. The Spurs have missed 5 free throws here in the fourth quarter, and yet they have an 11-2 run working. Ewing, great turn to get position on David Robinson, and that gives him 10,000 for his career. He needed 33 coming in. He's got them all. 5th New York Knicks to have 10,000 points. Walt Frazier and Willis Reed at the head of that list. Ewing and Robinson got tangled. Who's this one on? They each have 4. Borgia trying to take control of the officials' conference. And we get one more look. And it's on Robinson. Now what we saw there appeared to be Ewing shoving on David.
Well, David straightened up and banged him pretty hard. They were both pushing on each other. It looked like Ewing was the guy that had his arms involved in the action.
Critical call in the game. Strickland backdoor, and it would have counted. Would have tied the score. It's on Mo Cheeks, and Strickland will go to the strike. Boy, and remember that call, because whoever got it had 5. Would have been Ewing's 5th. As it is, it's David's 5th. 101-99. Strickland for 2.
Well, it's going to make David Robinson's job a little bit tougher at the other end, trying to stop Ewing, who seems to be the only guy that can finish this game.
Tied up. Cheeks to Vandeweghe. And back. Knicks slow getting into their half-court set. 10 to shoot. Ewing. Cross-court. Starks. Underneath. Oakley didn't want it. Cheeks. 5 on the shot clock. Long 2. Ice water in his veins. 8 for Mo Cheeks. On only 5 shots. He was cold in terms of not having very many attempts up. That one unties it. 103-101. Robinson draws an illegal D. First warning against either team. It's on John Starks. Spurs gets the shot clock reset and inbound the ball. John McLeod fighting for his continued coaching livelihood in New York. He doesn't know where he'll be next year. Robinson right around Ewing. Spurs again pull even. .150 in regulation. Knicks have led by 10 on a few occasions. Ewing got the shooter's roll. 35 for Patrick Ewing. Timeout, Larry Brown. With a minute 40 remaining, New York by 2. Stay with us for the finish. And you again have to flash back to that call that could have gone either way a moment ago that they put on Robinson to put him in deep trouble. 105-103 New York. 140 remaining in regulation. The Spurs do not want to get this team into an overtime, because at the beginning of this Texas swing, Dallas beat the Knicks, and that's the first overtime loss for New York this year. They are 6-1. Spurs aren't bad. They're 4-1 in overtime. But the Knicks have been the overtime kings of the NBA all year long.
Well, what the Spurs need now is a good shot, a good NBA shot. And this is the problem that they've been having lately, is to find in that place.
Oh, Comics almost wasn't looking for that one from Strickland. Wingate, not the man you want having to create. Robinson, yes. High game again.
Well, you got to figure that that was not anything like what was diagrammed in the huddle, but it worked out.
17 for David, 9 here in the quarter. Cummings tightly on Oakley. Cross court. Hold everything. Illegal defense, Spurs. And now each team has had one warning. This one's on Wingate. And we have 1:09 remaining. Knicks with the fresh shot clock will have Cheeks to throw it in. Interesting, you got Starks out there rather than Gerald Wilkins for New York, and Starks handles it here. Ewing. In and out. Rebound Cummings.
I don't know whether David Wingate got a piece of that, but boy, he knew where Patrick Ewing, his old college teammate, was going with that one, and he was way up there trying to bother that shot.
Robinson, hook, Spurs lead. So long tonight, it has seemed as if David Robinson has run in cement, but he has found himself in the fourth period. And he connects on the single biggest shot either team has made tonight, an electrifying jump hook over Patrick Ewing.
Well, here's just a quick move. He comes across the lane, gets the ball, and goes right back up with it with a nice jump hook. Good touch. Really was right on time.
Ewing's dominated all night, 35 points, 10 in the fourth quarter. Robinson, 19 points, 11 in the fourth quarter. And we're likely to see Ewing try the same thing that David just did, because they know any call means the end for the other guy. Boy, this guy found himself not a second too soon. Because you looked up at the end of 3 periods, you saw Robinson with 8, you saw the Spurs down by 7, and you had to figure an average night by David, the Spurs win this game. Well, he's still got 7 more points for it to be an average night. But emotionally, what a lift he has given the Spurs.
But Ewing really can't jump on that. He just squares up and tries to play in front of Dave, and Dave makes a nice play in the lane.
Each team, by the way, with 2 full timeouts, no 20s.
Well, we'll see here what John McLeod comes up with.
Ewing out there in the quadruple stack up high. Will break out, head low. In it goes to Vandeweghe.
Strickland doing a really good job. If the play is designed for Mo Cheeks to run it, Strickland kept Mo Cheeks from getting it.
Tucker 3 for the lead, yes. Trent Tucker has 3 field goals tonight. They are all threes. And New York with the lead, 30 seconds to go. Elliott. What a big shot that is. And again, timeout. New York, they trail 109 to 108. Elliott with the potential game winner for the Spurs. Robinson's shot was big. This one every bit as big.
Well, Wingate took a gamble off of Tucker, figuring if that shot beats you, then you get beat. But here's Sean Elliott. Once again, Vandeweghe cannot guard him. Takes it right to the baseline, puts it up. Big shot. Gives them back the lead.
Big night for Sean. 28 points, 2 below his season and career high. 25 and a half seconds remaining when we return in a moment. Timeout remaining. Spurs have 2 fouls to give, which could be huge because the Knicks can inbound the ball. The Spurs can foul them. Then the Knicks would have to reset. The only thing about that is it might put a little pressure time-wise on the Spurs. We'll see what their decision is. 25 and a half seconds remaining. 24, the full shot clock for New York. They trail 109 to 108 on the huge baseline leaner by Sean Elliott. For New York, Vandeweghe, Ewing, Tucker, Cheeks, and Oakley the same 5. Wingate in along with Elliott, Robinson, Cummings, and Strickland for the Spurs. If the Spurs get a stop, they probably win this game. 12 on the shot clock for Cheeks. Ewing turns and cannot connect. Rebound battle won by Elliott with 5 seconds remaining, a foul. And the Spurs will have a chance to nail this one down. It is absolute bedlam at Hemisphere Arena. The foul is on Oakley. They went into Ewing. He had every bit of defense the Spurs could possibly muster around him, and he missed a tough shot. If Elliott hits them both, the Knicks would need a 3 to tie with 7.1 seconds. Now that one was big, but this one almost a necessity against a team that hits three-pointers like the Knicks. Gotta have it. Got it. Knicks use their final timeout. Sean Elliott has matched his career high. 30 points. The free throws make it 111, 108, 7.1 seconds when we return. Or less games, 6-4 for the year. This one, they lead by 3. The Knicks 5-6 when the margin is 3. It's 3 right here, 111 to 108. Watch out for Trent Tucker and Kiki Vandeweghe. 7.1 seconds remaining. And if I'm the Spurs, I almost give him a 2 to deny any three-point opportunity. Tucker out to Oakley, and Cheeks with 3 seconds launches and got it. Mercy, what a shot by Mo Cheeks. And we may be headed to overtime.
Well, you just wouldn't expect Mo Cheeks, except he's made a career of making big plays, and that would be an unlikely one for Mo Cheeks, but he's the man right tonight. Leaning a little bit to his left, he steps up.
Never a doubt. He had 4 three-point baskets for the season until this one. Highly unlikely, to say the least. However, if there's one guy that this type of pressure is not going to bother, it's Mo Cheeks. He's been showered with boos tonight. People here remember that one of the reasons the Spurs decided to trade him last year was his avowed dislike at worst and ill feeling really toward the city of San Antonio. Never moved out of the hotel at the airport, never really wanted to get involved in the city, and basically forced a trade because the Spurs were afraid that they would see him come down to the end of his career demanding a trade at the end of the season when the Spurs wouldn't have a player the likes of Rod Strickland offered them. They had a situation in New York where Strickland was wearing out his welcome. A lot of people said, well, the Spurs are giving up on any chance of contending for an NBA title by dealing Cheeks. Spurs disagreed, and you know the rest of that story last year. Pearson will trigger it in. And here we go. Wally Rooney blows his whistle prior to the inbounds pass. And what this is about, I'm not real sure. Delay of game warning, Walker. He does back off. Willie into Robinson, turns at the buzzer. No chance. We head to OT. Spurs thought they had it wrapped up. Cheeks ties it inside at 2 seconds. Overtime coming at Hemisphere Arena. 4 minutes. Dave Barnett and Kobe Dietrich, 111 all. What an emotional swing we've seen. Back and forth. Knicks at one point looked like they might run away. Knicks then trailed, had to hit the three-point bomb by Cheeks. Both teams, as we said, have excelled in overtime periods this year. 4-1 for the Spurs, 6-1 for the Knicks. But after the 5 straight points put in by Sean Elliott, the baseline jumper And then the pressure free throws to make it a 3-point game. Here come the Knicks back. And it's not like the Rick Pitino days. When he was in charge of this team, they would look for the three-pointer first. They're not quite that wild about it, but they still have the trigger men, people like Tucker and Cheeks, who, when called upon, can really nail one, as Cheeks did. 111 all.
Well, I think this has been sort of an up and down emotional game for the Spurs. They've been riding the back of Sean Elliott more so than David Robinson, as their big guys really just personally been dominated a little bit by Patrick Ewing tonight, which is an unusual situation for Robinson and for the Spurs to see somebody throwing down dunks and really dominating the middle of the court.
Knicks assistant Paul Silas, who could have written books about rebounding, with a final word for Ewing. Now remember, Ewing, Robinson, and Elliott all have 5 fouls. That's the leading scorer for the Knicks and the 2 leading scorers tonight for the Spurs. Tap won by Robinson. Up to the Spurs to regroup emotionally after they thought they had a victory. And Elliott right back to work. That's a new career high. 32 points for Sean. Quickly the Spurs break out on top in the OT. Cummings out on Oakley. Neither man has had a big scoring night. This man has. And again, Ewing turned away underneath. Loose ball foul, Oakley. Number 4 on the oak tree.
Well, I'm glad there was a lot of contact there on that play. I'm glad both officials are, all 3 officials here are going to let these 2 big guys stay in the game and finish it out. At least I hope that's what happens.
As it should be. We hope it will be. Down the baseline, Anderson. Spin move, air ball. Ugly looking shot. And the Spurs commit the loose ball foul, and that's it for Robinson. He has fouled out on a call by Wally Rooney.
It really looked like somebody hit Willie Anderson's arm. He didn't follow through at all, and the ball just fell way short. David, trying to come up with it, comes up with his 6th foul of the night.
Spurs ship will be Admiral free the rest of the way. Sidney Green has sat quite a bit. This has been his best game of the year. A season high 15 points. They call on him for the remainder of overtime in all likelihood. It's the 5th time this year Robinson has fouled out of a game. He does so with less than a minute gone by in OT, and the Spurs leading 113-111. Now Green to tangle with Ewing. And a quick foul on Sidney, and that's 5 on him. Well, so much for letting him play in overtime.
Well, Wally Rooney's decided that all kinds of contact now is a foul.
Spurs may have to dust off David Greenwood. One more foul. Ewing turns. He has gone stone cold late in the 4th quarter and so far in overtime. This is a big possession. Spurs would really love to go up by 4 or more. And it's Green over Ewing. 17 for Sidney Green. And he's taken some shots tonight where Larry Brown says, no. Great shot. Just like that one. Timeout. 3:36 in overtime when we return. 3:36 in overtime. 115-111. Mo Cheeks to Trent Tucker. Chased out by Anderson. Now Vandeweghe. Knocked out by Elliott. And the shot clock will be at 12.
Good switch off there by Terry Cummings as Vandeweghe peeled around his man Oakley. Sean was able to get his hand up knowing where that pass was likely to go.
Tucker never one to drive much. Ewing. Rejection. Sean Elliott. What a rejection that one was. And a loose ball foul on Tucker.
Well, now talk about riding the back of one player. Sean Elliott doing it all tonight as Ewing has what looks like a pretty easy layup, and Sean just explodes and blocks it.
Some enterprising photographer needs to make that shot a Sean Elliott poster. That one needs to be frozen in time. 1:15, 1:11, 3 minutes remaining. Elliott against Vandeweghe, won't drive it for some reason.
No
Strickland
room.
drives, cheeks, knocked around, Ewing steals. Cheeks to push it. Open in the corner, John Starks, and it's a 2-point game. 8 for John Starks.
That's the neat thing about playing with Mo Cheeks is you know he's going to get you the ball. John Starks just found his spot over there in the corner and got mentally prepared to shoot that shot. Cheeks comes down, hits a little bit of a seam, and kicks it out to him, and he hits the jump shot. You can always count on Mo Cheeks to get you the ball if you're open.
Shot clock at 5. Anderson open, no good. Oakley lost the rebound to Elliott. Back up strong, 2.
Doing it all, Sean Elliott.
His career high now, 34 points. Spurs by 4. We hit 2 minutes in overtime. Vandeweghe can't drive on Elliott. Can't hit the outside shot. Anderson.
Great defensive play by Sean as Vandeweghe tries to beat him to the right. Sean just straightens him up and forces a bad shot.
Starks with the foul.
And here's Vandeweghe, tries to beat him with that first step. Sean just cuts him off, doesn't foul him, forces a bad shot.
Knicks get Brian Quinnett in for defense against Sean Elliott. He replaces Vandeweghe. Strickland to Green, outside shot, falls again. The Spurs by 6, timeout with 1:43 in overtime, and Sidney Green is going to remember this night almost as long as Sean Elliott will. He has 19 by 5, his season high in a Spur uniform. And the Spurs have their biggest lead of the night, 119-113. This is a night where they've had to find other answers besides the Admiral. He fouled out in the first minute of overtime with 19 points and 9 rebounds. So the people taking charge of the extra period, this man, Sidney Green, and that man, Sean Elliott, each with 4. The Spurs now have some defensive stops to make because there is plenty of time. Interesting, Vandeweghe stays out. McLeod could have made the offense for defense change and get him in for Quinnett. He didn't do it. He apparently thinks that Elliott has solved Vandeweghe. It's Cheeks. Strickland gambled, and Cummings fouls Cheeks, and Brown is hopping mad at Rod Strickland for gambling and leaving Mo Cheeks the room to drive the lane. Foul is on Cummings, his 4th. That's where Strickland went for the home run play and needed to go conservative.
Well, Strickland took a chance, kind of chance that wins the game. Got a huge tongue lashing from Larry Brown, and Strickland had his back to him. They turned to look, and he knew, and Larry Brown stopped yelling, just put his hands down and went, okay.
Anderson for Wingate. And you just knew Cheeks would hit them both. He did. It's 119-115. Full court pressure. Timeout Cummings. That is the Spurs' first of 3 overtime timeouts. 1:36 remaining. Career high 34 points, 10 of 14 from the field, 13 of 15 from the line. Rod Strickland, a season high 16 assists, actually credit him with even one more, and that's one off his career high of 17 assists. Sidney Green, a season high, as we pointed out, 19 points, 9 of 16 from the field, 1 of 2 from the line. It's taken those contributions to make up for the lack of David Robinson's game until the 4th quarter. In overtime, the Knicks can't hit. The Spurs are 4 of 6. And it's 119-115 with 1:36 remaining. Ryan Quinnett stays out there for the Knicks along with Starks, Ewing, Cheeks, and Oakley. Anderson, Elliott, Strickland, Green, Cummings for the Spurs. Elliott from the point. He'll work on Quinnett. Take him in deep. Green outside to Anderson. Whips it underneath. Strickland draws the foul. With all the usual contortions. It's on Quinnett. Strickland can bump the lead back up to 6. And again, defense for offense. Wingate for Anderson.
Well, you just need to get 2 points in that situation. Strickland shows the ball up in the air to Quinnett and then just moves it around him and draws the contact and puts it up and gets the foul.
Mr. Three-pointer back in, Tucker. It's now that time for the Knicks. 6-point game, that much time in OT. Cheeks hit his 3, and the Spurs had a foul to give at the end of regulation. They could have fouled him, made him miss. He would have given 2 free throws. Ewing again, stone cold, out of nowhere. Strickland the board. He'll push it up. Sidney Green, not this time. And Cummings and Ewing get tangled up. The loose ball foul is Cummings' 5th. Well, Sidney Green, a veteran, relying on his hot hand to, in effect, disobey coaching orders. Larry Brown does not want him to take that shot. On the other hand, he's been stroking it tonight.
Well, you just really don't want to take that shot. You've got enough points. You also really don't want to make this offensive foul on the rebound, because this is no time off the clock. Patrick Ewing gets you 2 points closer. They haven't even used up the amount of time it takes to dribble the length of the court. It's just giving them 2 free points.
You want players to be confident, but you don't want destructive confidence, and that's what Sidney Green displayed by taking that shot. 37 for Ewing. Back to the pressure. Anderson to Elliott. They shred the pressure here. Strickland will use some time, and we're under 1 minute. Good decision not to challenge Oakley. Shot clock at 10. Strickland to work on Cheeks. Pull-up jumper. Yes. Yes. 17 for the Rocket, and the Knicks use their final timeout.
Boy, 2 huge plays in a row by Rod Strickland. The rebound at the other end was spectacular. Then he comes down here, takes Cheeks one-on-one from the top of the key, and just drains a jump shot.
This game is memorable for a lot of different reasons, and the latest reason is the reemergence of Rod Strickland taking control, and then for now at least forgetting about whatever pain he may still be feeling with that right hand. That's a shot he hasn't been trying much less making since he came back.
Well, he has some soreness in that thumb. He's got it taped up fairly securely. I don't know how confident he feels with the grip on the ball. But he put that one up with some confidence and nailed it.
Yeah, and remember back right before tip-off, we were talking about how the Spurs can't score any points anymore. They got 123. They had averaged 99 over the previous 27 games.
Well, the pace had a lot to do with it. I mean, both teams have been running up and down the court. And, New York's been putting the ball up almost bordering on a Denver-like offense where they're shooting unlikely shots during the game. They're getting a little more methodical as this game is closed out, and I think they've had a little bit more trouble. But, I don't think there's that many guys on this Knicks team that are capable of hitting the shots that they need in the fourth quarter and to close out the game.
Well, they need 2 3-pointers. We've already seen tonight they can hit any 3 they need. The Spurs need probably one more big defensive stop, because with 48.3 seconds remaining, you figure it'll take the Knicks some time to get a decent shot. If the Spurs stop them, get the board, Knicks have to foul. It might be an 8-point game and all but over then. At worst, they could break it back down, play keep away, get the clock somewhere under 30 seconds, still up by 6. You love your chances then. Former New Yorkers, Green and Strickland, haunting the Knicks tonight. Elsewhere around the league, Indiana holds on. They beat Atlanta by 123 to 113. In overtime, New Jersey over Philly, 98-95. Miami by 6 over the Cavaliers. Charlotte holds off Golden State. Here we go. Tucker, long three. Rebound, Ewing, lost it. Picked up by Cheeks. He lets it roll outside the three-point strike to fire again, misses again. And in the corner, the rebound knocked out off the Knicks. 35.7 seconds. Brown gets Anderson back in for Wingate. Important, first of all, to get it inbounds. Now avoid the backcourt turnover, and Cheeks almost got the steal. Now play keep away. And Green does pull it out here. 28 seconds as Tucker wraps up Willie Anderson. Willie with a chance to make this an 8-point game with 28 seconds left in overtime. And what a strange New York to Texas trip it would be for the Knicks. They were perfect in overtime until they got to Dallas. They lost in OT there. They're about to lose in OT here.
Well, the Knicks are obviously playing very good basketball. They've had an excellent record over the last month or so, and they've come down to Texas, and looks like they're going to lose 3 games.
Terry coming, stealing the inbounds pass, and this one is all but over. They can't even foul now. Strickland zigging, and then Tucker again with a foul with 18 seconds. That man fighting for his coaching survival in New York. In all likelihood, Paul Silas and Jeff Van Gundy in the very same boat. The new man running the show in the front office for New York is Dave Checketts, who has ties to, among others, Jerry Tarkanian. And an awful lot of speculation as Sean Elliott gets congratulations for his 34-point career night and his Strickland hit. A lot of speculation that if UNLV defends their championship, the Tark will take his Shark Act to New York.
I would be surprised at that. I mean, I know there's a lot of speculation at that, but I don't know if Jerry, I would be surprised if Jerry Tarkanian, knowing him just a little bit, that he would be interested in branching out at this point in his life and getting into the NBA. The NBA is a lot different game, and there's a lot to know about it. He may be able to put together a staff with assistants that know a lot about the NBA, all the ins and outs of it, but I would be surprised at that. I don't think of financial considerations at this point in this age.
I don't see how he can possibly make more money and get a.
Right.
He's got a free house. He's got a free life in Las Vegas. Wayne Shinsis replacing Sidney Green, and the Spurs lead it 128 to 119.
Of course, if I was Jerry Tarkanian, I'd love to have everybody just speculating.
Ewing for 3. Wingate to Avery Johnson. This ball game is over, and the Spurs come from 10 back to win it in overtime by 9. The best home streak of the year. And another tough loss for John McLeod. 128-119. The final will return to Hemisphere in a moment.